After the miscarriage, I became the perfect Mrs. Hart in Nick's eyes. I stopped bombarding him with updates about my lab discoveries. Stopped bringing homemade lunches to Hart Tech headquarters. Stopped lying awake all night over his scandalous headlines with Selena. I even became lenient with Miles. Let him skip school, get into fights, skip breakfast, stay out all night. That night, I felt someone slide into bed, a hand with sculpted knuckles traced across my waist.
Don't. I'm exhausted.
Ella, what's going on with you lately? You don't text me? You don't check up on Miles? Is this how you do your duties as Mrs. Hart?
Isn't that what you all said? A proper Mrs. Hart should know her place, not stick her nose where it doesn't belong.
Flashback. 1 month ago, Meliselena's child, Nick's 8-year-old son, shoved me down the spiral staircase.
Go to hell! You deserve it! You seduced my dad! Homewreckers should rot!
But I wasn't a homewrecker. When I passed out, only then did Miles panic and call for the butler.
Miles says you fell on your own. How could you be this careless?
He pushed me. Check the security footage, you'll see.
He's just a child. Why would he lie? I know you resent Miles because he's Selena's son. I know you want a child of your own. But if you want to stay in the Hart family, know your place. Drop the jealousy. It's pathetic.
My body was wrecked and raw from the miscarriage, but it was nothing compared to the dull, spreading ache inside my chest. Nick leans in toward Ella, his brows softening a little.
That child.
Don't bring it up again. Don't worry. I'm not angry anymore.
Ella is 5 years younger than me. She used to trail behind him like a chatty shadow. Back then, filling his silence with noise, she'd look miserable and asked,
Is there only room in your heart for your ex-wife Selena? Do you even love me?
You're not my
even
mom!
when Miles
I
lashed
hate
out
you.
at her, she'd curl up in my arms and complained.
I treat him like my own son, but he still hates me.
I used to find it all annoying. I thought she was immature and incompetent. But now after plummeting down those stairs, losing all that blood, losing our child, she wasn't crying, wasn't making a scene. This was exactly the poised, dignified composure I'd always demanded. So why did my chest feel hollow? Why? Are you blaming me for not punishing Miles? He's my only child. He's young. He thinks you tore me and Selena apart. Hating you, it's only natural.
Don't overthink it. I truly don't care anymore. Or do you want me to act like before? Wail and scream? Get your parents involved? Give them another excuse to strike my name from the family trust?
Go to sleep. I'm tired.
Nick, the power went out at the mountain villa. I'm so scared. Can you come be with me?
I'm married. Do you really think it's appropriate, calling me out late at night?
I'm sorry, Nick. I'm just so frightened.
I need to step out. She's Miles' mother. If something happens to her...
Go ahead. I understand.
Damn it. How could she be this indifferent?
The door clicked shut. I sat up in the darkness. I guess when disappointment finally bottoms out, the tears just stop coming. My phone screen lit up. A message from Professor Orlin, my PhD advisor at Cambridge.
The university has approved your doctor application. Your visa should be ready in a month. I'm thrilled you're returning to academia, but will your husband be on board with this?
Don't worry. I won't have a husband much longer.
My advisor fell silent for a few beats. Then my phone rang.
What's going on? Haven't you been in love with him for years?
I froze. The question dragged me deep into the undertow of memory. The Walkers and the Harts were old family friends. My parents, wanderlust addicts, would dump me on Nick whenever they jetted off to some far-flung corner of the world. Nick always pulled up at the school gates straight from board meetings. He would lean casually against his sleek, obsidian Maybach, still dressed in his immaculate bespoke suit. The razor-sharp, lethal contours of his face captured the breathless attention of everyone walking past the gates. One girl, practically drooling, whispered to me,
Is that your boyfriend?
I nearly choked.
I'm not stop making things up.
But later, after he'd driven me back to his place, I couldn't help myself. I poked my head around the door and asked,
Nick, can I marry you someday?
I've never had a crush on you, girl.
He snorted, stubbed out his cigarette, and pinched my cheek, tugging hard.
And don't say shit like that. My girlfriend would lose her mind.
Everything inside me went still. It was only at that exact moment that the crushing reality hit me. Behind the backs of the strict family elders, Nick had been deeply entangled in a fierce, deeply passionate romance. The woman was a stunning, high-profile influencer. She possessed a fiery, fiercely proud personality, radiating a vibrant, blinding confidence that I could never match. So I buried my feelings, drowned myself in textbooks. I graduated college. Nick went to war with his parents, stormed out, and married Selena anyway. No prenup, no blessing. I started my master's. They had Miles. The Hart parents finally surrendered, accepted marriage, moved on, and then they divorced. After burning down the sky for Selena, Nick was exhausted, hollowed out. He agreed to the arranged marriage his parents had been pushing for years. One condition: his new wife had to take good care of Miles. I didn't hesitate. I volunteered.
The Harts demand a perfect wife, and Nick already has a child. That house will eat you alive. Our family doesn't need you to marry for alliances. Why are you doing this?
Because I love him. I never said it out loud. I just looked at her, eyes bright.
If I give him and his son everything I have, they'll accept me eventually.
3 years of marriage. Miles hated me, viscerally. When Nick told him to call me Mom, he threw himself on the floor, thrashing, wailing.
She's not my mother! She's the mistress! She's the evil witch! I don't want her!
I could only swallow the humiliation, desperately comforting myself with the lie that he was just an ignorant, immature child. Hurting, I would win him over with
He's
patience,
just a kid.
with
It's
love.
fine.
I poured everything into that boy. He poured every meal I made straight into the trash, screamed and sobbed whenever I said no to junk food. Started telling people at school I was the housekeeper at
family
Mrs.
nanny,
Hart.
not my
Just help.
stepmother.
Once, his teacher called. Miles was not in the campus. My heart was seized. I ran through every place I could think of, phone pressed to my ear. Hands Shikinji was seconds from calling the police when Selena strolled up, hand in hand with Miles.
Mommy took me out for a play date. Why are you acting like a psycho?
I dragged in a breath, forcing the anger down.
You could have told me. All you had to do was let me know.
So what? I'd have freak out!
He stuck his tongue out, grinning. Selena, poised as ever, played peacekeeper.
So sorry, Mrs. Hart. I told Nick. He must have forgotten to mention it to you.
Nick had known, and he just let me spiral into panic. Something inside me snapped, the tether of reason. I yelled at Miles for the first time.
Do you think watching me suffer is a game? Do you have any idea how terrified I was?
And out came the wailing, the kind of scream no one could soothe. Eventually, the Harts were summoned, his grandparents. They cradled their precious grandson, faces carved from ice, and ordered me to the reflection room. I refused. They had their security drag me in anyway. The study doors locked. The lights off. Pitch black. Freezing cold. I have claustrophobia. My chest started caving in. Breathing turned to shallow gasps. I fumbled at my phone, fingers trembling, and dialed Nick.
Nick, please. Help me.
He paused at the name, a beat too long.
Baby, for my birthday this year, let's take Miles to Hawaii, just the 3 of us.
Nick murmured something back to her. When he finally spoke to me, his voice was laced with impatience.
All right, enough. Stop making a scene. I heard about what happened to Miles. You were out of line. Stay there and reflect on your behavior. Be good. I'll let you out when I'm back.
He didn't come back that day. The walls closed in. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think. Pain tore through my abdomen sharp, blinding. I pounded on the door until my fists bruised. No one came. And then the world went black. I woke up in a hospital bed. A doctor told me gently, carefully, that I'd lost my first child. Nick held me, his voice cracking.
Ella. We'll have another baby. We will.
My lips parted, but no sound came out. I wanted to ask why he'd stayed with Selena instead of coming home. I wanted to ask if he still loved her, but what came out was,
Really?
Really? I swear. I'll protect our next child with everything I have.
He sounded so sincere, and I was weak. I let myself believe him. The second time I got pregnant, he was careful, attentive. He swore he'd never let anyone hurt me. Suddenly, the promises didn't hold. You only love a child when you love the person who gave them to you. That truth hit me like a freight train. Even divorced, Nick still loved Selena. He always would. I was never his partner. I was merely a convenient, low-cost option he settled for when he grew ex-hostie to live in Mrs. Hart, whose sole purpose was to act as an unpaid nanny for his son. If it wasn't Selena sitting in this seat, then anyone else in the world could be Mrs. Hart. I was done. It's time to end it. The next morning, I was up at dawn, packing my things. There was a time I'd treated this mansion like a home. Every corner held pieces of Memi lab notes, my pressed botanical specimens carefully arranged. Nick used to stumble over my potted plants and grumble nuisance under his breath. Then, the moment I traveled for a conference, he'd order the housekeeper to water them on schedule. Those small details seduced me into a dangerous illusion. Maybe, somewhere beneath the ice, Nick cared. Now I see it for what it was, absent-minded reflex. Clinging to scraps of nothing, desperate to stitch together proof that I was loved, pathetic. And now that I'm leaving, I'm taking every last trace of me with me.
Ella Walker! Why didn't you make my breakfast? What is this?
Miles's shriek detonated from the living room. I frowned and stepped out. The dining table was a war zone. Oatmeal pooling on the mahogany. The boy stood there, faced thunder. The housekeeper cowered beside him, his head bowed.
Miles. Basic decency. If you won't call me Mom, you'll address me as Miss Ella.
God, you're so annoying! I asked why you didn't make my breakfast!
I glanced at the overturned oatmeal bowl on the table. I'd gotten a goddamn nutritionist certification for that kind every breakfast, calibrated, macro-balanced, designed to keep him healthy. He'd always sneer at it. Drink half, dump half.
I'm too tired. Ask Felina to cook for you. And I won't be doing it anymore. Ever.
You promised Dad you'd take care of me. You can't just stop.
Oh, that was then. But now, whoever. I'm done.
Mrs. Hart. I step away for one moment and this is how you treat my son?
What can I say? This is my house, not yours.
Ella, forget it. Just rest. Don't leave.
That's who he is. Always taking the path of least resistance. If it weren't for this father blindly enabling the boy without a shred of justice, how could Miles have grown into such a tyrannical, arrogant little demon? Exhaustion washed over me. Not the physical kind. The soul-deep depletion of screaming into a void. Wordlessly, I turned and walked away. Nick's frown deepened. This wasn't my script. By now, should be red-eyed and trembling, accusing him of blatant favoritism. Maybe I'm still too frail to fight, he reasoned. He looked down and gave Miles a gentle pat.
I'll say it one more time, son. Ella is my wife. Your mother. You will respect her.
Miles didn't dare talk back to his father, but his fists curled into tight, white-knuckled knots. Dead of night. A rustling sound threaded through the darkness. I've always been a light sleeper. The noise yanked me awake immediately. I opened my eyes and there he was. Miles, his young face hovering above me in the thick shadows. Details smudged, blurry, something in his hand catching the thin moonlight.
Miles, what are you doing?
This is your fault. Dad yelled at me because of you. You! Once you're ugly, Dad won't want you anymore, and I can have my mommy back!
What did you do, Miles?
I didn't. Mom said the water would just make her ugly. She didn't say it would hurt like this.
Nick didn't spare him another glance. He scooped me into his arms and bolted for the garage. The ambulance siren ripped through the night. Somewhere in the jolting chaos, the doctors worked for what felt like hours before the pain was brought to heal. Burns across my body, skin ulcerated, layers up and layers of gauze wrapped around me like a shroud. Nick sat beside the bed, his jaw clamped tight. I've always been meticulous about my appearance. Clothes pressed to perfection, hairstyled with care. I flexed my fingers, forced my eyes open. Nick's gaze snapped at me, relief flickering across his face. The first words out of my mouth were ice water.
Selena incited Miles to assault me. I'm pressing charges.
No.
Nick didn't hesitate. The word came out like a door slamming shut. I just watched him, silent. He avoided my gaze.
Selena would never do something like this. The kid's just talking nonsense. I'll deal with Miles when I get home. Set him straight. Don't make a scene. Push this too far, and it won't look good for the walkers either.
There it was. A threat, thinly veiled, but unmistakable. He was warning me. My fingers curled into a fist, then slowly uncurled. A dry laugh scraped its way out of my throat. I shut my eyes and said nothing. Nick waited. His Mrs. Hart wasn't magnanimous.
Selena would
the old
never
Ella
do
would have
something
bristled
like
the
this.
moment those words left his mouth.
You just believe Selena over me? Do you still love her?
It had always
Shut
annoyed
up!
him before. Now, he would have gladly soothed my jealousy. But the silence stretched. I didn't bite. Finally, he couldn't stand it. His voice came out parched.
You have nothing to say?
You've just threatened my family. What would you like me to say?
What's wrong with you?
Nick, don't forget, you're escorting me to the gala this afternoon. Don't leave me hanging.
Just as I thought. She's bound to get upset hearing from Serena. Selena's in the influencer world. It's brutal. People take advantage. Me accompanying her to the gala is simply a public warning to keep the wolves at bay. She's not like you. You just take care of the house. She's out there grinding on her own. It's hard. Don't read into it. But if you're not feeling well, I could always...
Go. Don't keep her waiting.
What did you say?
I said go. I want to rest.
Fine. Fine, Ella Walker. Don't regret this.
Wait.
If you want me to stay, just say it. Stop hiding
I
behind...
was just going to say, you forgot your car keys.
He stood frozen in the doorway, waiting, hopping, and take it back. I didn't. The silence stretched mercilessly. Finally, he grabbed the keys from the nightstand and stormed out. I watched his silhouette disappear, placed a hand over my chest. So this is what it feels like, not caring anymore. The following days were peaceful. I lay in my hospital bed, quietly recovering inside my sterile hospital room. Every time the housekeeper called,
Miles is throwing a tantrum, won't eat.
Needs help with his science project.
I had exactly one response.
Call his parents. He's not my concern.
Why is she so petty?
I hung up. Peace, at last, until Selena showed up. She swept into the hospital room in a scarlet dress, makeup flawless, carrying a fruit basket like she was attending a garden party. She set it down, settled herself into the chair beside my bed, and smiled. That slow, venomous curve.
Mrs. Hart. Must be hell, isn't it? Cooped up in here. What's it to you? I just feel sorry for you. No career. Hated by the Hart family. Ignored by your husband. Even the son you poured yourself into, his heart belongs to someone else. Must be excruciating. Why not just give me back the title of Mrs. Hart? Nick and Miles, they both prefer me anyway.
Talk to Nick. If he wants to remarry you, I have no objections.
Selena's smile cracked. Her lovely face contorted, poison seeping through the mask.
You honestly think he'd choose you? Ella Walker, you're delusional. You're nothing but a dog at his heel.
My honesty seemed to enrage her further.
Nick will divorce you eventually. Mark my words.
You want to see who matters more to him? Let me show you, right now.
A jolt of ice through my chest. Acrid smoke curled under the door. Then heat. Roaring, clawing heat. Voices shrieked from the hallway. Fire, fire. She set the ward on fire.
We have to get...
My ankle. I think it's broken. Don't worry about me. Take your wife. If I don't make it, just tell Miles I went abroad. Don't let him—
Shut up! Don't talk like that! Ella, just wait. I'll come right back for you. I promise!
My hand shot out. A reflex and the movement tore across my wounds. A blade of pain sliced through the fog. My mind went razor sharp. What was I doing? Still expecting Nick to choose me. No, I couldn't depend on him. Not anymore. I clenched my jaw, bit down against the agony, and hurled myself off the bed. My body hit the floor. The bandages split open wounds. Ripped fresh. White-hot pain blinded me, but the smoke was coiling in now, thick and black, and I couldn't afford to stop. Couldn't stop. I clawed at the floor with my bare hands and dragged. myself toward the window, inch by excruciating
Help
inch.
me!
Down below, Nick finally carried Selena to safety. The second her feet touched ground, he spun around and lunged toward the
don't
building.
go.
A firefighter grabbed him, arms locked around his chest.
The fire's spreading! It's too dangerous!
Veins in Nick's forehead bulged, a rage he'd never shown before.
My
licked
wife
out
is
of.
still in there! I need to get her out! Sir, please calm down! Look! At the window!
Nick froze. His head snapped up. A figure wrapped head to toe in gauze was struggling through the window frame, blood seeping through the bandages. Broken, desperate, a wreck. It was me. I didn't glance in his direction. Not once. Without hesitation, I threw myself out, my frail body tumbling through the air like a torn butterfly wing, and plunged into the pool on the ground floor. When I opened my eyes again, I saw the same blank white ceiling. I turned my head. Nick sat beside me, staring. His eyes were shot through with red veins. Exhaustion carved deep lines into his face. He hadn't slept. That much was obvious.
I told you to wait for me. Why did you jump? Do you have any idea how close you came to dying?
I didn't believe you.
What did you say?
I said I didn't believe you. I didn't believe you'd come back for me. And I didn't want to die, so I saved myself.
Nick stared at me, searched my face for something, anything soft. There was nothing there. It wasn't like this before. When Miles tormented me, slipped cockroaches into my water glass, I'd burst into tears and bury myself in Nick's chest. When the Heart Elder looked down on me, calling me a barren, useless womb who couldn't even provide an heir, I'd shoot him a pleading look, desperate and hopeful. And when he said, "Don't be scared, I'll protect you," my eyes will light up bright.
Don't be scared.
Full of trust. When did I stop looking at him that way? Nick couldn't follow that thread. He didn't dare. He dropped a brittle, "Get some rest," and fled out the door like a man running from a fire of his own. I welcomed the quiet. I spent several more days in the hospital, let my body stitch itself back together. When I finally returned to the villa, I hadn't even crossed the threshold before the sounds hit me. Laughter, shrieks of joy. Selena was playing with Miles in the living room. Snack wrappers scattered across the playmats like confetti. The scene of a happy family. My eyes landed on an open bag of shrimp chips. "Miles, you're allergic to shellfish. You can't eat those."
It's a snack, not seafood.
Miles's face curdled the instant he saw me.
God, you're so annoying! Nagging about everything. Wish you'd stayed in the hospital for a few more days.
Don't worry, Mrs. Hart. I know how to take care of my son.
Right. Her son. I stood there for a long moment. Then a bitter, mirthless smile pulled at my lips. I didn't argue, didn't fight, just walked upstairs and slept. I wasn't surprised. Not really. Just hollow, soul tired, a cold, sinking grief, all desires. I truly treated Miles like my own son, and despite his cruelty, despite everything, the ice had been thawing slowly. I'd actually believed once that we could become family.
The living room has security cameras. Check the footage.
What's that supposed to mean? Are you implying my Miles is a liar? Fine, let's check. I'll make sure you have no excuse left.
The cameras are broken. Never got fixed. Ella, when you've done something wrong, you need to own it. You're the one who prepares Miles's meals. This was clearly your negligence.
I was locked in the dark study, again, kneeling on the ice-cold marble floor. A bitter laugh choked in my throat. I was so incredibly naive. I'd known Nick would protect Selena. I just hadn't realized he'd go this far, framing me, manufacturing evidence, erasing the truth like it was nothing. Lost in the bitter haze, I heard it. A soft, slithering whisper against the floorboards. My eyes blew wide. I stopped breathing, didn't move, didn't blink, and then cold, wet, coiling, wrapping itself around my calf.
Snake. There was a snake in here. Someone put a snake in here.
But I couldn't fight it forever. I bolted upright, threw myself at the door, and pounded until my fists throbbed.
Help! There's a snake in here!
Silence. Nothing. Not a footstep. Not a voice. I ground my teeth, scanned the darkness. My eyes landed on a brass paperweight. I grabbed it and swung again and again, bashing it against the lock. The skin on. My hands split. Blood slicked my palms. I didn't stop. I couldn't.
What the hell are you doing? Miles is right there. Is this what you want him to see?
Miles? You know what Miles just told me? He said he felt sorry for Ella Walker, said he wanted to apologize to her. My husband belongs to someone else, and now my son is turning towards her too.
You're the one who left us.
Yes, I did. I couldn't stand the Hart family back then, all your suffocating rules, but I regret it now. But you've both got someone else in your hearts now. How? You all said you'd love me forever. Ella Walker acted like a pathetic, obedient dog at your heels for a few years that you suddenly can't bear to throw her away?
Fine. I'm in the way. I'll leave. Go find some pretty young boy who actually wants me.
Ella Walker is my wife, but she is only my wife. You're the only one I've ever loved.
Days pass. Nick tried to corner me, to explain, to spin it. I was never there. I locked myself in my room, packed, sorted, erased every trace. And then Miles slipped through my door. He stood there, head hanging low, voice smaller than I'd ever heard.
Auntie Ella, I'm sorry.
No need to apologize. Was there something else?
Can you do my mom a favor? Someone took photos of Mom and Dad. Now the whole internet is calling her a homewrecker. So, could you divorce Dad first? Just so Mom can clear her name? It would be a fake divorce. You can remarry right after. No, right. Forget it. You're always clinging to Dad. You want to be my mom so bad. There's no way you'd ever agree to.
Okay.
What?
I said okay.
The divorce certificate came fast. Signatures, stamps, done. Selena posted on Instagram immediate Nick was legally single again, and she was simply reconnecting with her ex-husband.
Mrs. Hart, thank you so much. Without you, my career would have been destroyed.
Enough, Selena. This is the last time I clean up your mess. Don't come looking for me again. You took the hit this time. I know that. Don't worry, we'll remarry in a few days. What do you want? Name it. I'll make it right.
No need. I'm happy I could help Miss Selena.
You've been very mature lately. If you'd been like this from the start, Miles wouldn't hate you so much.
Then the cat door exploded inward. Men,
Selena!
several of them, eyes bloodshot, wild. They charged our
You
table,
whore!
knives flashing.
You said you only loved your fans! How could you be with someone else?
Nick's pupils contracted. He lunged towards Selena. Steel bit into his arm. Blood sprayed across the table. More fans were surging in. Nick grabbed Selena and bolted for the exit, never noticing me. Never seeing me knocked to the ground. The fans, frenzied, manic, started smashing tables when they couldn't catch their prey. A shard of ceramic lodged itself deep in my leg. I had no idea who had leaked Selena's private schedule, but the alleyway outside the cafe was already swarming with a rabid mob of her paparazzi and fans.
I think that's Ella Walker.
Selena said she divorced Nick ages ago, but still won't stop throwing herself at him.
Pathetic. Shameless.
They searched sat in my face. I stumbled, caught off balance, hit the ground hard, gravel tearing a gash across my cheek. The fans froze. A flash of uncertainty rippled through them. They were young. This had gone further than they planned.
Let me leave, unless you all want a lawsuit.
That word worked. They scattered, unsure, parting just enough for me to limp through. I hobbled back to the villa. Nick, Miles, and Selena were already in the living room.
Someone dug up photos of you and Ella together. They're saying the timeline proves I'm the mistress. Nick, what do I do? My career is it over? I might as well just die!
Don't talk like that. I'll release a statement, clear your name, prove you never broke up our marriage.
And what about Ella Walker? If you put out that statement, she'll take all the hate.
That's fine. I'll send her abroad, let things cool off. When it blows over, I'll make it up to her. Compensate her properly.
Yeah, she's just a housewife anyway. A little online hate won't kill her. It's not like she'll lose anything.
You too. You're so good to me. Oh, Mrs. Hart, you're back.
What happened to you? You look wrecked. Anyway, we were saying you should take a vacation. Go abroad for a while.
Okay.
Nick hesitated. Something flickered behind his eyes. He walked over, took my
When you come
hand.
back, I have a gift for you.
Ella, go have fun for a few days. When you're back, you can do my parent-teacher conference.
A bitter smile tugged at my lips. This new attitude, this sudden softness, all built on guilt. I said nothing, turned, went upstairs. Next morning, the airport, I trashed the ticket Nick had prepared, walked straight past his gate, headed for another. I was leaving, yes, but not on his leash. Not to a vacation he'd arranged. I was going to England. The plane lifted off, punctual, surging into the clouds. I watched the white drift past the window and in Haleti. Slow, filling my lungs to the brim. Ahead of me, open road. No storms. No chains. I was finally free. Night fell. Nick sat in his study. The house felt hollow, echoing, like someone had scooped out its center.
I really want Ella's cooking. She hasn't made me anything in forever.
And whose fault is that? You kept provoking her. When she's back, you apologize properly. We'll be a family again.
But for once, he didn't argue.
Sir, the plane, Mrs. Hart's flight, crashed. What did you say?
Nick was certain he was hallucinating. Plane crash? Ella's plane crashed. Impossible. That woman stubborn as rusted iron, unyielding as stone, she could not, would not, die in some senseless, random tragedy. His heart slammed against his ribs. The room tilted, spun, went gray at the edges. But his voice, when it came, was almost steady, almost calm.
Don't joke about this. Did she put you up to this? You've got nerve, taking bribes from her now? I know she's been upset lately, but this isn't something you scare me with.
The assistant froze, his face crumpled into something lost, something helpless. His paycheck came from Nick. He barely exchanged 10 words a week with Ella. Why on earth would he lie to her? But Nick wasn't thinking. Not clearly.
She knows I worry. She knows. And she still pulls this. Forget it. She's just furious. I'll coax her. I'll smooth it over.
He dialed the number he could recite in his sleep. It rang again, then cold, female, robotic. The number you have dialed cannot be reached.
Right. Of course. Can't pick up on a plane. Book me a ticket. I'll go find her. Mr. Hart.
Nick acted like he hadn't heard. He reached for Miles's hand instead, pulling the boy toward him, already planning, already moving.
The plane really went down. Every news is reporting it.
You need to prepare yourself.
I said book the damn ticket! Please, don't do this. She's gone. The dead don't come back.
Nick's fists balled at his sides. Veins bulged along his knuckles, his forearms. His eyes were a maelstrom dark, churning, ruinous.
You need to pull yourself together and start preparing for the funeral. You took the hit this time. I know that. Don't worry, we'll remarry in a few days. What do you want? Name it. I'll make it right.
No need. I've packed yet.
A faint tug at his shirt.
Dad, what happened to Auntie Ella? Is she coming back to tell me stories?
And then his dread became shock, because he saw it. His father, the tech titan who never flinched, the man carved from granite and silence. His eyes went red. What? A single tear slid from the corner, tracing the sharp contour of his cheekbone, then another, then more. Nick Hart was crying. He pulled up the villa's security footage, forcing himself to watch the archived footage over and over again in an act of pure, unadulterated self-torture. Ella had been someone who lived in her life fully, tenderly. Every morning she watered the Arabidopsis on the windowsill. She spent hours in the kitchen, perfecting desserts he and Miles liked. Nick had never watched her this closely before. She'd been the arrangement, the contract wife. All he'd ever required was quiet obedience and polite distance.
Whoa! Hey, easy. You like me that much? Want to come live with me?
Ella liked cats. Nick had never known if she loved them so much.
You're disgusting. I already told Dad one of them scratched me. He said he'll have them all killed.
Why?
Because I can. Seeing you miserable makes me happy.
Please find them a shelter, all of them, as soon as possible.
Behind the screen, Nick felt his chest constrict. A physical pain. Miles had complained about the strays, whined that he wanted them dead. Nick had agreed absently sure, whatever, and when security couldn't track the cats down, he'd never thought about it again. So that's what happened. Ella, the woman who orbited around them so tirelessly, had things she loved too. Her own small joys, her own private world, and Miles had been trampling on them. His son had been trampling on her all this time. How had he only just noticed?
I just signed it off. Didn't even look up. The plants, the cats, baking for him, for Miles.
The living room. Selena was with Miles.
Mom, you're so useless. You can't even help me with my homework. Ella always knew how to explain everything.
Miles, sweetheart, your Ella is never coming back. Let's stop talking about her, okay?
What do you mean never coming back? She promised. She promised she wouldn't leave me. She said. Mommy, don't leave me. Stay forever. Please. I miss you so much.
How could you say such things to a child?
You hit me. You've never laid a hand on me before.
Hurt flooded Selena's eyes. Nick drew a ragged breath, then let his head drop in defeat. He shouldn't blame Selena. She hadn't done anything wrong. Miles's eyes were redrimmed, desperate, searching.
Dad, Mom's lying, right? Auntie Ella isn't dead? Tell me she's not dead!
Miles, Auntie Ella, there was an accident. She's gone to another world now. No, you should call her Mom. She was my wife. Your mother.
What the hell is this supposed to mean? You're not remarrying me?
Her voice pitched into something jagged, something that sliced. Miles flinched, a wave of dizziness washing over him. He shook his head helpless, lost, then wrenched free of Nick's grip and bolted for his room.
You chose to leave. You left me. You left Miles. Ella is my wife. I'm not marrying you.
How can you do this to me? Don't you forget, you divorced Ella Walker. She's not even your wife anymore.
The words hit like a physical blow. Nick went rigid. She was right. In the eyes of the law, He and Ella were nothing to each other now.
Someone
Miles had
took photos
asked
of
for
Mom and
it.
Dad.
Nick had
Now the
pushed
whole
it
internet is
through.
calling her a
He'd pulled
homewrecker.
strings to get the
So,
divorce
could you
certificate
divorce Dad
fast-tracked,
first?
but it
So
was
Mom
supposed to
can clear her
be
name?
a temporary chess move, a mere high society convenience. In the dark, silent corners of his mind, he had long since categorized Ella as his true wife. Nick forced back the burn behind his eyes. He pushed past Selena, stumbled toward the door, and ran. Arriving at the grand gates of the Walker estate, Nick hammered his fists against the heavy mahogany wood over and over again like a madman. The door swung open, Martha's face apia red, cool, composed, and the instant she registered who was standing on her doorstep, her expression curdled into open disgust.
Mrs. Martha!
Don't. I have relation with you.
Nick's voice dropped low, almost a whisper.
You're Ella's mother. How can you possibly say we nay relation?
If I recall correctly, you and Ella are divorced. The Hart family pedigree runs far too high. Our humble Walker family simply cannot to measure up. Mr. Hart, please leave.
No, we aren't actually divorced. It was a temporary tactic, a strategic play.
A legacy of Vort can be trade as Cassio game just to amuse your little mistress.
Nick, our daughter married you. We didn't sell her to you, raised her, cherished her, spoiled her, and in your house she suffered nothing but misery. If you don't love her, go find someone you do love. Ella won't bother you anymore.
No, I love her. I love Ella. So I do have feelings for Ella. Sometime along the way,
Is that?
I fell for my own wife, that girl who once looked at me with bright, shining eyes. But it is too late. Everything is too late now. Please, just let me see her room. Just once. She took everything with her when she left. There's nothing left for me to hold on to. I just want to see the place where she used to live.
What do you mean?
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. If I hadn't put her on that plane, please, just let me go inside.
It's not all your fault. Just remember the good parts about her from now on. You have half an hour.
Winter in Cambridge, snow spirals down, dusting the old red brick buildings with a layer of silver frost. I pull my beige cashmere coat tighter, my scarf covering half my face, leaving only my eyes visible. My gaze behind the glasses falls on the bulletin board. My paper is featured right at the very top of the recommended section in the new issue of Nature.
Ella, wait a moment.
Professor Allen's voice comes from behind me, snowflakes dusting his gray hair.
Stay back after the seminar. An important lab donor wants to meet you.
I walk over to the professor, breathing out a cloud of white mist.
Professor, I'm not really good at business negotiations.
Allen adjusts his glasses, a hint of mischief in his eyes.
Don't worry, he specifically asked to see you. He's very interested in your research on gene knockout models.
I arrive 10 minutes early at the reserved window seat and order a hot latte. Outside the French windows, the snow falls heavier by the minute, blanketing the iconic spires of King's College in blinding white. The wind chime tinkles as the door swings open. I think it's the donor, but when I look up, all I see is a little figure bundled up like a teddy bear swallowed. In a deep gray down jacket, a knit beanie pulled straight down to his eyebrows, leaving only the tip of a bright crimson frozen nose exposed. He barrels straight over and flings himself into my arms, nuzzling into me until my scarf slips askew.
Ella, I missed you so much.
I freeze. The coffee spoon clatters against the saucer.
Ethan? What are you doing here?
I found Ethan 3 months ago right outside my lab building. It was a cold, rainy day in Cambridge. He was curled up under a plane tree with his knees drawn to his chest, his blue eyes glistening like rain-washed glass beads. I took him back to my apartment and knelt down in front of him, staring at his purple, cold, chilled fingers.
What's your parents' phone number, sweetheart?
Ethan sniffles and mumbles,
I don't know, miss.
I look into his eyes helpless, and let him stay the night for the time being. The poor boy was terrified. He couldn't sleep at midnight, quietly crying under the covers. I'd spent 3 years putting up with Miles, that stubborn little troublemaker, so I knew exactly how to handle this. I hold Ethan gently, patting his back and humming him a lullaby. Ethan drifts off eventually, murmuring "mommy" in his sleep, and my heart softens instantly. He stayed with me for a few days, before the police finally managed to contact his family. The day the police came to take him away, he clung tightly to my arm, voice thick with tears.
You're the nicest person who's ever been kind to me. No one's ever sung me to sleep before. You're just like my mummy.
My heart aches hearing him talk like that. I couldn't help suspecting the little boy had been mistreated by someone after he left with the officers. I'd honestly thought I'd never see him again. I knew very little about Levi's exact background. All I'd heard was a passing mention from Professor Allen that he seemed to be the heir of a Jewish financial conglomerate shrouded in mystery. To me, Levi was anything but ordinary. Most people couldn't pull off that half-smirking, knowing look of his, the kind that could freeze the very air around them. My palms grew slightly damp.
Mr. Rothfind, what a coincidence.
It isn't a coincidence. I'm here to ask you out to dinner, Marcella.
Caught off guard, I had no choice but to agree reluctantly. Levi and I walked along the snow-dusted stone path, with Ethan skipping cheerfully between us.
Mr. Rothstein, there's no need for you to go out of your way for me. Right now, all I want is to focus on my studies.
It doesn't conflict with your studies.
I've been married before, and I've raised a child too.
They are still not mutually exclusive.
You're from such an outstanding background. I'm not good enough for you.
What makes you think you aren't good enough for me just because you had an unsuccessful marriage?
How do you know my marriage was unsuccessful?
The first time I saw you present your team's research filings at the lecture, you didn't strike me as someone who lacked confidence. But the moment you talk about this marriage, it's clear how unhappy you are.
I fell silent. Unhappy was an understatement. In those 3 short years of marriage, I'd been like a petri dish drained of all life. First arrived in Cambridge, I could barely bear to look in the mirror, to face the woman with dark circles under her eyes and dull, lifeless hair.
That's true. But I don't need a new relationship to prove I've moved on. I'm perfectly fine on my own.
Of course you are perfectly fine, Miss Ella. I'm the one pursuing you. There's no need for you to feel pressured. You don't need a new relationship to heal yourself. I only hope you won't shut me out because of what happened in your past.
What if I really have relationship PTSD and never want to fall in love again?
Then I suppose I'll spend the whole night cursing your unpleasant ex-husband and still show up at your lab tomorrow with fresh gingerbread.
What does that mean? Is Ella going to be my mommy?
If I'm lucky enough.
Then please say yes, Ella. Daddy's gingerbread tastes amazing.
That night, I video called my mother. Curled up under a blanket on my bed, I rolled onto my side, cheeks flushed.
Mom, I think I've met someone I like.
I was wearing slim-fit sportswear, dragging a silver gray suitcase while texting someone on my phone. Next to Levi's name on the screen was a little gingerbread man emoji.
I still have my doctorate to finish. There's no way I'd leave Cambridge for good just because I'm heading back home.
I really only came back for a short visit. Ethan cried. I hardly believe that. He sat quietly keeping me company while I did experiments yesterday. He's not that mischievous.
Amid the crowd waiting at arrivals, someone waved their hand vigorously.
Ella!
My eyes lit up. I locked my phone and rushed over to hug the familiar figure.
Mom!
Martha hugged me tightly, her eyes glistening and her voice thick with emotion.
You're finally home.
My heart ached too, filled with guilt.
I'm sorry I left so suddenly. Study in Cambridge without talking it over with you guys first.
No, dear. We all knew you must have suffered wrongs at the Heart's place, and you just didn't want us to worry. You've always been stubborn and independent since you were little. We may not be as wealthy as the Hearts, but we're not the kind of family that lets people walk all over us. Why didn't you come home when they treated you badly? I told you from day one that Nick Hart was a worthless piece of trash. His son's just like him. Spoiled rotten with bad habits thanks to Selena.
I sat quietly in the passenger seat, not daring to contradict her. Mom had never liked Nick. She thought any man who'd let his affair with a celebrity ex-wife tank his company's stock was never worth committing to. I used to get defensive whenever she criticized Nick, rushing to stand up for Jaime as if admitting he was flawed meant dismissing all the years I'd loved him. But hearing it now, I felt completely calm. I thought of the snow in Cambridge, the umbrella always tilted my way in the snow, and Levi bringing Ethan over with gingerbread treats. It had only been a few months since I escaped the heart's gilded cage, and I could no longer feel that old flutter in my heart for him. After talking for a long while, Mom sighed and pulled a pack of gummy bears out of the glove compartment, handing it to me.
You have no idea. Nick thought you were on that crash plane, thought you were dead, and he lost his mind completely.
She started the car, her expression complicated in the rearview mirror.
Acts like he's head over heels for you now. Where was he the past 3 years? I never told him you're still alive. Let him suffer. But he's been making a fool of himself, insisting on holding a funeral for you, and it just so happens it's Dad's birthday soon, and that's why I asked you to come back.
I pictured the scene she described. Nick in a tailored suit, standing beside a sullen-looking Miles, shedding tears in front of a tombstone engraved with Ella Walker Hart. I shivered, breaking out in goosebumps. That man, who'd never spared me a second glance back then, would he ever care this much about me? As for Miles, he'd finally get to live openly with his real mother. He must be thrilled. I popped a gummy bear into my mouth and murmured,
It's creepy enough he's holding a funeral when I'm still alive. I'll show up at Dad's birthday party, just to stop him from losing his mind any further.
The crystal chandeliers cast dazzling light, and the air hung with a blend of champagne and truffle fragrance. Dressed in a moon-white velvet gown, I stood on the second floor looking down at the crowd below, never thinking I'd be back here so soon. Nick stood in the corner holding a wine glass, staring blankly toward the center of the dance floor with Miles beside him. I overheard several guests whispering nearby, their words pricking at me like tiny needles.
I heard the Walker eldest daughter in the plane crash. Why are they still holding a birthday party? Losing a daughter probably doesn't even matter to them. True enough, that Ella Walker was always useless.
Married into the Hart family for 3 years and still got pushed out. I'd be embarrassed too if I were her parents.
Dad, is what they're saying true? Does no one care about Mom? Aren't Grandpa and Drama sad at all?
Selena had often cried in front of him, painting me as privileged and blessed with a happy family, while framing herself as a struggling single mother raising him alone. Too young to understand the complicated adult world, Miles only knew he had to protect his poor mother, and so he'd lashed out relentlessly at me, the so-called intruder. Now it seemed my life hadn't been all that perfect either. A flicker of emotion finally crossed Nick's empty eyes. He'd found it strange too his parents had never been the kind to dismiss the loss of a daughter.
Maybe not. It doesn't matter. As long as we remember her and love her, that's enough.
A stir rippled through the crowd. My father, the guest of honor, arrived fashionably late. I linked my arm through his and stepped slowly into the banquet hall. The grand room fell dead silent, every guest staring wide-eyed. Beside my father, I stood in a simple white gown, my long hair pulled into a low chignon that exposed my slender neck. Gone was the haggard, subdued look of Mrs. Hart. I was once again the radiant Ella Walker.
She's alive.
Then why's Nick been moping like that? I heard he even handwrote funeral invitations.
Thank you all for your concern. A few months ago, Ella did plan to board that flight, but she received an admission offer from Cambridge University at the very last minute.
The guests quickly caught on, raising their glasses to offer congratulations, saying how blessed he was and that nothing mattered more than having her alive. The atmosphere soon returned to normal. Father went off to socialize with his business partners, and I breathed a sigh of relief, hoping to find a quiet corner to rest. The next second, my wrist was seized in a harsh, tight grip. Without a word, Nick dragged me straight out of the banquet hall and into a quiet corridor, my back pressed against the cold marble wall. I stared at him in shock, baffled by his outburst.
Mr. Hart, what are you doing? Let go!
Mr. Hart. You're calling me Mr. Hart? Are you trying to drive me crazy?
I almost wanted to laugh at his reaction. What is this? Belated possessive div? Let go. You're hurting me. Mr. Hart, we're no longer anything to each other. What else am I supposed to call you?
Ella Walker, about the divorce. I know you're still angry, and I don't blame you. Let's put that aside for now. Why didn't you tell me you weren't on that plane? Why did you change your number? Do you have any idea how worried I was?
Why would you worry about me? Without me, there would be no one standing in the way of you and Selena. You two should be the ones hoping I was dead more than anyone.
So stubborn. Not a single word out of her mouth was what I wanted to hear. He wanted to silence those lips.
My phone lit up with a message from my best friend.
You'll never guess. Nick sent his mom away.
My finger hovering over the screen.
What happened?
Who knows what's gotten into him? He's forcing the old lady off to a manor in Switzerland to retire. She threw a fit, crying and threatening to freeze his trust fund, but Heart Tech's all under his control now.
Serves her right if you ask me. She made your life miserable every chance she got back then.
I stared at the screen for a long time.
Oh, honey, what's wrong now? Who's upsetting my Ella again?
No one. I just suddenly realized it was all this simple.
It had been this easy all along to send Mrs. Hart away, this easy to free me from that endless nightmare. Yet for 3 years, I'd begged Nick for help countless times, and he'd never once tried to fix it.
I told myself he was stuck by family ties, that she held company shares and he couldn't cross her. So I'd comforted myself over and over, swallowing all my pain alone. Looking back now, how ridiculous I'd been.
Mom didn't know the whole story, but she held me gently and patted my back. The doorbell rang while I was knitting a mustard yellow beanie. My needles moved nimbly between my fingers. It was a gift for Ethan. Levi had said the boy kept begging for a hat that covered his ears. As soon as the door opened, Miles darted straight inside, his little leather shoes clicking quickly across the floor. He stared up at me with bright eyes, like a hungry puppy begging for affection.
Mommy!
My knitting needles clattered onto the sofa. For 3 years, he'd barely even called me Aunt Ella. At Hart family banquets, he'd address me coldly as Ella Walker. Behind my back, he'd copy Selena and call me a homewrecker, a crazy woman. This was the first time he'd ever called me mommy. I bent down to pick up the needles.
Don't call me that.
Is this for me? I knew you weren't really mad at me.
I'd knitted him so many things before, yet he'd never worn any of them. Once, he'd even taken a pair of scissors and cut a brand new scarf made into shreds. Wearing the mocking grin Selena had taught him.
Mom says cheap handmade stuff makes me brout in rashes.
Then he'd run off, leaving me crouching on the floor, picking up every loose piece of yarn. What had Nick been doing then? Oh right, he'd been in a hurry for a board meeting.
Stop wasting time on these things. Just have the housekeeper buy whatever you need.
Just thinking about it felt like tiny needles pricking at my heart. When Miles reached out to grab the hat, I swatted his hand away. The sound was sharp yet gentle, but his skin was soft, and a faint red mark bloomed instantly on the back of his hand. Miles stared at me in shock, his eyes slowly welling with tears.
Mommy?
I said, don't call me that. And this isn't for you.
Miles stood frozen, lost and unsure how to handle the moment. He was still just a kid, and he could only turn to Nick for help with a pleading look.
Miles, you hurt Mom before. That's why she doesn't want to talk to you. Apologize to Mom, okay?
Miles nodded half understanding, then turned back to me timidly.
I'm sorry, Mom. I was bad before. Will you forgive me?
I accepted his apology without a single twinge of softness. After all, Miles hadn't only disliked me, he'd even been involved in having acid thrown at me. If he weren't still a child, I would have had him brought before juvenile court. He owed me this apology.
I accept your apology, but even so, I still don't want to talk to you. I never liked you. Back then I only put up with you because I had no choice. I don't have to anymore. Please leave.
No! Dad said if I apologize properly, you'll be my mom again. After you left, no one made me breakfast, no one told me bedtime stories. I miss you so much, Mom.
Is this Mr. Hart's new trick, using a child to disgust me?
Ella, how can you say that? I sent my mother away for how she treated you. Miles used to be ignorant and reckless, so I brought him here today to beg for your forgiveness. Later, we can have our own children too. If I do all of this, will that make you happier?
I already told you we're done. What do you mean we'll have our own children? I'm already seeing someone.
Nick froze for a second, then smiled with his usual arrogant confidence.
Impossible. Don't lie to me. If you really had no intention of forgiving us, why would you be knitting this hat for Miles?
He nodded toward the beanie on the table, small and clearly made for a child.
Can't I knit it for someone else?
Ella, stop this. Who else is there? Don't tell me you went away for a few months and had a child.
His stubborn certainty filled me with the same helplessness I felt staring at impossible experimental data.
Please don't be mad at me, Mommy. I'll cherish every gift you make me from now on.
My head throbbed with frustration. I was just figuring out how to send the two of them away when my phone rang. An incoming video call. My expression softened the instant I saw the name flash on screen. Levi. I answered the call. But it wasn't Levi's face that appeared, only a round little face filling the screen.
It's Ethan! Can you see me? Mommy Meyer?
Before I could reply, Miles's face turned deathly pale. Nick's brows knitted tightly into a frown.
I see you, Ethan. I'm making you a little gift.
Thank you, Mommy! You're the best! Give me a kiss!
I will when I come back.
Unable to hold back any longer, Miles darts forward, snatches the phone, and shouts at the screen.
Don't call her that! She's my mommy! I'm her only son!
Oh, are you Mommy's naughty ex-son who is always mean to her?
I'm not an ex-son! I've always been her son!
He isn't scared at all, and grins widely instead.
Mommy said she doesn't have anything to do with you anymore. I'm her only son now.
That's not true!
I took back my phone first, soothed Ethan gently, and promised to bring him a Statue of Liberty souvenir badge. Once Ethan was happily off the call, I didn't spare Miles a glance, only said to Nick,
You saw that. That little boy is my boyfriend's child.
You'd go this far just to avoid me? Be someone else's stepmother?
Ethan wasn't Levi's biological son. After we got together, Levi had explained everything to me. Ethan was the child of Levi's college junior friend. Ethan naturally started calling me Mommy, and Levi seemed perfectly fine with it. Still, there was no need to explain any of this.
What's wrong with being a stepmother? I was Miles' stepmother before. I love Levi. I'm willing to do anything for him.
You love him? How could you love someone else? You loved me for 10 years. How could you fall for another man in just a few months?
Nick quickly answers his phone.
Nick, I know I was wrong. Come pick me up. It's so dark. I'm scared.
Ella, let me explain. Selena and I don't have contact anymore. I have no idea why she's calling me.
Nick, if you think about it, Selena is the real reason we ended up like this. She's the one who cost me my baby. If you really want to apologize to me, why not make her pay for what she's done?
Selena was once the love of his life. Saying this ought to drive him away for good. Nick fell silent at once. His head hung low, his knuckles white from gripping his phone tightly, the veins on the back of his hand throbbing visibly. I nodded inwardly, ready to show them the door.
If you can't do it, then please.
He suddenly lifted his head, his eyes filled with a resolve I'd never seen before.
I'll do it.
The private club where we meet was elegantly decorated, filled with a faint scent of incense. Nick sat by the window, his fingers brushing slowly over the rim of his cup.
I'm here. Spit it out. What do you want to talk about?
Nick didn't rush to answer, his gaze drifting toward the plane tree canopy outside the window.
Do you remember this place? I used to bring you here all the time when you were still a student.
Of course I remembered. Back then, my parents always left me in Nick's care. He'd grumble about me being some little troublemaker who'd wandered out of a lab, yet still in meetings early just to pick me up after class. Already in charge of Heart Tech by then, he'd tuck me straight into a private booth before rushing off to socialize next door. Sometimes a waiter would bring over a strawberry mousse, saying it was specially ordered for me by Mr. Hart. Time had passed, and even after everything that had happened between us, those sweet memories, wrapped in strawberry cream, weren't entirely fake.
After you got together with Selena, you never brought me here again.
I'm sorry. I grew up living entirely by my family's rules, climbing the ranks, expanding the business empire step by step. Then I met someone like Selena, who lived like she had nothing to lose, and I got hooked. Truth is, I never even cared about her that much, especially after I married you. I just couldn't shake that feeling of breaking free from all the chains. I knew Selena was rotten from the start, but I still stood by and let her walk all over you. Let me make it up to you properly from now on. Will you let me?
Make it up to me?
I don't trust you anymore. Let it go. Leave the Walker family alone, and I can still treat you as a friend.
A heavy, suffocating silence settled over the booth. Then Nick let out a low laugh.
Friends? Ella Walker, who the hell wants to be your friend?
I looked up in shock. Nick had always been calm and restrained. I'd never once heard him swear before.
I want you back by my side, or the Walker group will pay the price. Do I make myself clear? Ella, my patience is not infinite.
I clenched my fists, anger surging up from my heart before fading into a quiet weariness. Between us, it always came down to threats and confrontation. We sat locked in a stalemate.
Ella, don't be so stubborn. You can't win this against me. Quite the bold claim, Mr. Hart.
Levi? Ethan? What are you two doing here?
A certain lady said she'd be right back to continue our research discussion. I waited and waited, but she never showed. So I had to come see if she'd gotten tangled up with some unpleasant nuisance.
If Ethan didn't come, Mommy would have been stolen away.
You're awake! I'll go call the doctor right away.
Am I in heaven?
Don't be ridiculous. You're in the hospital. You didn't die.
Still alive, huh?
I knew exactly what he was thinking. He'd probably thought dying for me would be the only lasting mark left in our tangled relationship. Now even that wish had been denied him.
Nick, stop overthinking. If you died, I'd have no choice but to take care of Miles. We'd only end up resenting each other for the rest of our lives. If that happened, I'd hate you for forever.
I let out a quiet sigh of relief. After all, he'd saved my life. I couldn't bear the thought of him falling into despair or doing something reckless again.
You survived a close blush with death. Rest well. I should go now. Lemo and Ethan will get upset if I stay any longer. And when they're mad, they're really hard to cheer up.
Nick's smile faded. He fell quiet for a moment, his gaze drifting to the couple's bracelet on my wrist, a gift from Levi. He asked softly,
"Can you ever forgive me?"
I sighed and nodded.
Yes.
Nick's eyes lit up instantly, like a drowning man clutching a lifeline.
I'm leaving now.
I stood up. Nick made no move to stop me, only watched me quietly, as if gazing at a treasure he was about to lose forever. Spring was creeping into the air in the States. Gentle breezes rustled the willow branches, carrying the soft breath of early spring. I walked out of the hospital, staring blankly at the rows of towering skyscrapers.
Ella!
Mommy! I want a hug too, Mommy!
Mr. Rothstein, I like you so much.
I like you too, Miss Walker.
Mr. Rothstein, I don't want to have kids in the future. What if we end up with someone like Miles?
Then we won't have any. We already have Ethan.
Can we just stay together forever without getting married?
That's not an option. I can wait for you to work through your fears, but we can't put it off forever. How about this? We will register in Switzerland. Their marriage laws are strict. If I ever dare hurt you, I'd have to pay massive compensation. You'd also get half my fortune if we ever divorced.
Dusk fell, painting the sky in soft shades of peach and orange. Leaning against Levi's chest, I watched Ethan chasing bubbles along the riverbank. I thought to myself my life was still long. All the past pain and sorrow were merely the prologue. Ahead of me, an infinite horizon of breathtaking beauty is waiting for me to claim it.